So on this support, go here, and this is actually good for a lot of things. So I'm looking up calculator soup, and to share. So all I did was do a search for calculator soup, and there's lots of different calculators on here. I'm picking the algebra calculator just because that's one that would work. And I'm going to go down here to quadratic formula calculator, and I would pick that. And here are the problems. So if this said ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, I could type in some numbers for a, b, and c and hit calculate. And what's really nice is gave us that complicated answer. It gave us it in decimal form. And this is the way the computer will want it, in that radical form. So that's another application that you could use. And I wanted to make sure you see that. So what I did to make that happen, and you might want to jot this down just for future use, even if you have. So even if you have a graphing calculator, because you might want it to use something else. But I went to calculator soup. I did algebra calculator. Sorry. And then I picked the quadratic one. So that was something that we could do using our using the computer, and we don't really need a graphing calculator for that one. Okay. Now on your support, let's say problem number 1 looks like this: 12r plus 7, and then 5r minus 15 equals 0. Okay, this problem, it says to solve it. This is not really a problem you would put in your calculator. This is one that you would say, okay, well, they already have it factored for me. So I would say 12r plus 7 is equal to 0, and 5r minus 15 is equal to 0. And we would solve it. So we would subtract 7. 12r is equal to -7, divide by 12. So r is equal to -7/12. We would add 15. 5r is equal to 15, divide by 5. And so r is equal to 3, and we would have those two answers. So that one's not really a calculator problem. Problem number 2 says to solve b squared minus 6b minus 27, and they have it equal to 0. Okay. So on this problem, and this is 6b, not 66, 6b, we would need to, in order to even get this ready for the calculator, we kind of need to pick our a and our b and our c. So there's nothing in front of the b squared. It doesn't matter if it's a b and not an x. So we would just say 1. There's a -6 in front of our b to the first power, and our c would be -27. Okay. If I was doing this problem on the calculator, the best thing, in my opinion, to do is to go to program that I just put on there, and not do the poly root finder because it's more complicated. So you're going to go to program. Those of you who have a skinny calculator, you have a bunch of stuff on yours under program. Those of you who have a fat calculator, you just have this one that says quad. So I don't have the other ones on my fat calculator. So you want to find the program that says quad, and you want to hit enter. And when you do that, you're going to type in, it's going to say, what is A? Well, you're going to say it's 1. What is B? You're going to say -6. What is C? You're going to say -27. Okay, so I'm going to go to program, quad. and I'm getting two things. My calculator says 9 and -3. Is that what you guys are getting? Okay, that's the answers. So that's what we want to do for that. Anybody lost about that? Okay. So I'll kind of clear this out. Anybody need me to wait? Confusion? Be okay back there? Right by the apps button. To the right of the apps button, it says PRGM. It's not on yours. Well, you know what? That's probably because I messed something up. So let me fix that while I'm working out the next example. So let me clear this out. Okay. Let's look at this one. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this one. So because I do want you to know where that poly root finder thing is, but here's the number 3 that we're going to look at. 2t squared minus t minus 3 equals 0. I absolutely could I could do what we just did. I could go to that quad that I just did a while ago. Oh. We'll do another one of those in a minute. If we don't, we'll do it in lab. Okay. So I could do quad on this one. If I did quad on this one, this would be A is 2, B is -1, and C is -3. Okay. Or on this one, I'm going to show you that poly root finder that we had. So I can show you that one up here. So if I do poly root finder, I would go to apps, and you do want to know how to do this. Probably not when you have something squared, but there is a problem that is cubed, and you'll want to know how to get to this if it's cubed. So to do this one, you want to go, you hit your apps button, which is kind of diagonal from the alpha button, and you want to go down to where it says PLYSMLT2. On mine, that's number 9. If you've got a fact calculator, I know a lot of the fact calculators, it's further down the list. So that PLYSMLT2, and then you want to hit enter, poly root finder. And then I do want to have order of 2 because I just have something, the highest power is a squared. So I would hit next. If your highest power of X is a 3, you would change that to a 3, and we'll work one of those in a minute, and then hit next. But I'm going to hit graph because graph is right underneath the word next. So that means I'm going to go to the next thing, and I'm going to type in over whatever I had. The 2, if you have a fact calculator, it's just, I think at this point it's asking you what A, B, and C are. You don't have to retype everything in. Right? Okay. If you have a fact calculator, you just type over what you just type in your A, B, and C. Okay, so 2x squared minus 1x minus 3. I'm using x's instead of t's, and then I want it to solve it. So I'm going to hit graph, and it's telling me -1 and 3/2 are the answer. So that was, I can do that on this calculator. You would have got the same thing if you had done quad. So what did we say? We got t could be 3/2. Was it -1 and 3/2? Okay. We could always work these out the long way, but I did that in the lesson. So I'm trying to just really just use, how do you use your calculator on this stuff? Okay. Number 4. Can I do this one in my calculator? 3x squared minus 39. Yes, let's use let's don't go to that poly root finder. Let's do quad on this one. And I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to show you one other one in your calculator, and then we're going to be done with this. We're going to go to the lab. Okay, so A on this one is 3 because x squared, whatever is in front of x squared is your A. B on this one is 0 because we don't have an x, right? C is negative 39. So we're going to type this in our calculator and it's going to give you some crazy So you're going to go to program. You're going to hit quad. Yours is under TI-84. Okay, you're going to hit quad. You're going to type in A is 3, B is 0, C is negative 39. You're going to hit enter. And it's going to tell you some crazy looking stuff, probably. And you're going to hit enter again. And you're going to get the right answer. It's going to give it to you without it being as decimals, I guess. So did you guys get something like 0? After you hit enter again, you got 0 plus the square root of 13 and you get 0 minus the square root of 13. Well, and so in the computer, you would type in plus or minus the square root of 13. It doesn't want those decimal answers. There is going to be a time where it asks you for the exact answer, which this is the exact answer, and then it's going to ask you for the decimal answers. So you might want to, you'll start jotting them down before you hit enter to get the answer. Does that make sense? So that's how the quad program works. The last thing that I want to show you, just to make sure that you know where it is and how to do this, there's going to be a problem that looks like this. So this isn't number 5 on yours, but if it asks you to do something like this, 2y to the third minus 5y squared minus 3y equals 0, you should notice that this is a 3, right? So now this is something different. We've got, it's gonna use a little bit different. It might call them A, B, C, and D this time. Okay, so the term in front of y to the third is 2. Y squared would be negative 5. And y is negative 3. So we would have to have a fourth one that's going to be 0. It's not this 0. It's just because we don't have an added term there. Okay, you're going to have to use the poly root finder for this one. That one is under apps. So you would do that. Let me look exactly how it looks. Okay, so you're going to go apps, poly simulator 2. If you have the FAT calculator, going to pick poly root finder. And you're going to need to say, all of us are going to need to say that we're going to need to change that. There's a place where it says order. Well, this time we want the 3 to be highlighted because we've got a highest power of 3 there. We would hit next. And then you're going to want to type in your 2x to the third minus 5y squared minus 3x plus 0 and solve it. If you have FAT calculator, you're just typing in your A, B, C, and D. If you have skinny calculator, you're having to type in your equation at this point, and then you get it to solve it for you. And I'm going to go there. I only have the skinny calculator on my computer, so I enter. I'm going to go to make sure that this is a 3. Okay, so we've got 2. Did y'all come up with the answer? What are y'all coming up with? Okay, and you should get 3 answers there. So that sounds right. So -1/2, 3 and 0. Okay. But you're gonna have to use the poly root finder, not the quad, when you've got something to the third power. Okay. I will meet you guys in lab.